Good evening, once again, Irish fans, to another edition of the The Irish Fan Podcast, where I am not an Irish fan. I am The Irish Fan. How are you? My name is Danny. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to talk about what is here, what has arrived. Our game tomorrow. It's that time, baby. We're here. Go Irish against the Hurricanes tomorrow night, 7:30. Are you going to be watching? You know this boy will be watching. The Irish take on the Convicts down there in South Florida. Look, I'm super pumped for this game. We're gonna talk a little bit about this game. We're gonna give a prediction. This is gonna be a super long episode. A couple things to talk about. First, if you could like, share, comment, subscribe. Anything that you can get this channel going, that would be great. If not, no worries. Like I said, I'm not doing this for the clicks. I'm doing this for me because I love talking college football. So that's what we're gonna do today. If you want to reach out and talk football, I get my email is robertstanny82 at outlook.com. That is robertstanny82 at outlook.com. Shoot me an email. I'll answer any question that you want to know about Notre Dame football, what you think about this season, any laments, which I have many all the time if you listen to last season, any praises, any criticisms, whatever you want. We're going to talk about college football as it pertains to Notre Dame football. First and foremost, this show is completely dedicated, I'm going to say this every single show, to getting Notre Dame back to winning national championships. Not competing for, we've already done that, winning national championships. That's what this show is designed to do. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to bring or be a part of, even if it's just a small little sliver of success to the University of Notre Dame football program. So that's what I'm doing. That's what this is. And that's why I started this podcast. Anywho, enough about me. Let me talk a little bit about, because I haven't recorded since we had a starting quarterback named. Real quick, it was really weird. He came to the right conclusion in a very weird way, and let me illustrate or highlight this a little bit. This could be something that was just entirely invented by the Notre Dame media. Because every single person that covers Notre Dame football, Irish Breakdown, Irish Illustrated, Blue and Gold, Irish Sports Daily, every single one of those publications predicted Kenny Minchey to win the job because that's what they kept hearing from their sources. And CJ Carr ended up winning the job. Now, I'm thrilled that CJ Carr ended up winning the job. Every single one of those publications, I might add, were thrilled that CJ Carr ended up winning the job, but camp didn't go as according to plan as most people thought. Everyone that saw CJ Carr and Kenny Minchey practiced, everyone said that Kenny Minchey kind of looked better. I think it was for practice one. CJ Carr had 3 interceptions on day 1. Excuse me. And throughout camp, that was kind of a mainstay of what you saw. Just CJ Carr taking risks, and some of those risks paid off and some of those risks didn't. So it was a little weird that the conclusion that everyone came to, CJ Carr was the one that ended up happening. I mean, I'm not one that wants a lot of interceptions thrown during a game. Having that said, we have to take chances. We just have to be able to score points against elite teams to win championships. Highlighting about what I said before, Notre Dame winning national championships, not competing for. We've shown that we can do that. We can play, George Gipp all day long, rush for 225 yards a game, throw for $152, and average 35 points a game, and that's good enough to compete for national championships. But to win them, we need offenses that can score more points than that, somewhere 40 plus, with a quarterback that can throw for over 250 yards a game, and a running game that can go for about 200 a game. We need both, not one or the other. One or the other can get you to a level of competition, but we need both to win. I think that's what Marcus Freeman wants. I think that's what Marcus Freeman sees. I think that's what Marcus Freeman knows, and that makes me happy. Having that said, we still need to take care of the football, and we still need to not throw interceptions. We still need to be able to run the offense. I think CJ Carr's going to be perfectly capable of doing that. I just hope that the combination of risk-taking to reward is on the right side of that equation. Reward, risk-taking. So we're going to find out. We're going to see. And again, how this all came about, and at least CJ Carr can becoming the starting quarterback. I'm not 100% sure why it went the way it did. I guess it's not that big of a deal. It's certainly not now. I know it's old news. But it's the only news to report on. They haven't played yet. And all they've been doing is practicing between now and then. No one's hurt, thank God, so that's good. So, CJ Carr's your starting quarterback. It's very weird how we got there, but we did get there, and that's all there is to say about that. Like I said, your boy's been struggling this week. I was going to record a couple days ago. I came down with the stomach flu. That's always awesome. That time of year, kids start going back to school, they start sharing germs, that's what happens. So I know I'm a little late to the party, but better late than never. So, here we go. Talk about Miami. Miami is supposed to have a very good offensive line. They have athletes all over the board. They got Carson Beck, who's going to be their starting quarterback. He's got a ton of experience, a ton of big game experience. He's never played a Notre Dame football defense. He's never played that. So there is that. He has played a couple of really good Alabama defenses. So he's got experience out the wazoo. There's really nothing bad to say about Carson Beck. He's a gamer. He's shown he can win big games. But here's the thing surrounding Carson Beck, at least for Miami. I am seeing a trend. I talked about this last year ad nauseum. I talked about it with as a pejorative in regards to Riley Leonard. There is something to be said about these guns for hire in modern day college football. These are not seasoned NFL veterans that can go and get themselves plugged into a team and everything be seamless. These are still very much kids. They're still very much kids when it comes to knowledge of the game, and they're getting huge endorsement deals or huge NIL deals to transfer and can go to a completely different team, completely different cultures. This is key. Completely different cultures, and it is shown to not really be beneficial. Now, I mentioned Riley Leonard. Well, Danny, how can you say Riley Leonard wasn't beneficial? We played for a national championship. Yeah, we did, but we didn't win. And you could make a strong argument that we didn't win specifically because we did not have a quarterback capable of throwing the ball down the field to win the game. Now, I'll also bring up the fact that we didn't actually start scoring points against Ohio State until we did that. We were kind of forced to do that. And because we really hadn't done it all season, we were kind of fish out of water. We really didn't know what to do. And we couldn't catch up fast enough to be able to hang with Ohio State, and guess what? We lost. And again, Riley Leonard is simultaneously probably a big reason why we played for a national championship, but he's also a big reason why we didn't win. We can compete for national championships with Ian Book, quarterbacks like Ian Book. Okay, I'm done with that. This Irish fan is done watching those kinds of quarterbacks get us to a point where we look like we belong on the field, and then we actually don't, because that's the missing piece. And I think we're finally there in terms of the overall scheme of a team, the overall position groupings. I think we have one of the better running back groups, if not the best running back groups in the entire country. Probably the best running back group in the entire country. There's a lot of Penn State fans that would disagree. We have one of the best offensive lines in the entire country. We have one of the best secondaries in the entire country. I think you're going to find out this year we are going to have the best linebacking crew in the entire country, and we have a very underrated defensive line in the entire country. I think we're going to have one of the top 10 defensive lines in the country. So, by position group, we actually are starting to stack up. We've been doing that in the Marcus Freeman era and in the late Kelly era, all the way up until now. So we do have some evening out here in terms of talent with all these teams competing for national championships. We're just missing that one thing. That one thing, City Slickers. What's that one thing? That one thing is quarterback. We saw it. We saw it with our own eyes last year. We were a quarterback away from a national championship, guys. Think about that. I want everyone to think about that. If you're an Irish fan listening to the sound of my voice, the last time we competed for a national championship was 2012. I'm not considering that 2018 and 2020 playoff runs, because we were playing against teams way far better than us, far better, and it showed. We got killed in both of those games. We couldn't compete. So the last time we were even close to competing for a national championship, other than last year, was 2012. We got run out of the building in that game too. That's probably a game that we didn't lose because of our quarterback, but you get my point. 2012, that was 13 years ago. You know, I'm starting to get a little long in the tooth, a little gray-haired here. You know, I'm starting to get a little old, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm ever going to see a national championship from the University of Notre Dame. I think this team, with this quarterback pick, I think they can do it. Last year, I think they can compete, and they competed. This year, I think they can do it. They're that quarterback shine. We're going to see. We're going to find out. Miami, with all the athletes that they have, that does not bother me. Really doesn't bother me. Defensively, they don't have a very good run defense. That bodes well for us. It's a very good matchup. Our strength of our defense is our secondary against a very experienced Carson Beck. We have a very experienced secondary. We have a very good running game. They have a very weak running defense. So we match up well in this game. It's looking like it's going to be slippery, probably wet. That also bodes well for teams that run well and for teams that can't stop the run. So does that mean an Irish victory? Well, your boy thinks so. And I think it's going to be a little bit closer than people think. I think it's going to be in the 24-17 range, 20-13, 20-15 range. But I'm going to go ahead and predict final score 23-14 is going to be my final score for the Irish tomorrow. Hopefully, it's going to be a big victory. We need to stack up these victories for that playoff resume. Again, every single year, Notre Dame is going to be the yeah but team. I told you before my last podcast, we can't have any yeah buts. No yeah buts. So that means we got to win these games. We have to beat Miami. We have to beat Texas A&M in a couple of weeks to build that playoff resume so that we can become one of those 4 teams at the top come at the season's end. Guys, look, I've never been as bullish on any Irish team preseason than I am on this one. And the reason it's not because we have all these future NFL first round draft picks, you know, although we do. We have a lot of NFL talent. Don't get me wrong. But that's not why. This isn't 2020 Alabama, okay? What has happened in college football is a shift. You had 4 to 5 teams always hovering right up here and everyone else way down here. Every once in a while you could have a team sneak up, but for the most part, those 4 to 5 teams, and I can name them, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, and that's all I got right now. But those are the teams competing for, or those are the teams that were winning national championships. Not competing for, winning. And the talent level has done this. It's gotten more even. All the way around the board. I just got done watching the Alabama Florida State game. Florida State just won. Teams can turn seasons around immediately. That Florida State team last year, we crushed them at Notre Dame. They were a shell of a football team. The same program at least. They have a lot of different players. They got the same coaching staff for the most part, minus Gus Malzahn, who's their offensive coordinator. That team just beat Alabama, and pretty handily too. So, we can do this year. We can do this year. And again, like I said, I don't know how much longer I got before I can see Notre Dame win a national championship. I think they can do it this year. We're going to start tomorrow. Big day tomorrow, big game. I cannot wait. I hope you guys can either. Notre Dame 23, Miami Convicts 24. That's going to be it for today's show. I know it was really quick, but I got to get in a quick episode to get that prediction in. Love you guys. Go Irish. Big victory tomorrow. We'll see you next week after the game.